Welcome to Crushing Kayfabe. My name is Jason Garish, and thank you for tuning in. Before we get into the wrestling stuff, I got a couple of things to take care of. One is the fan film, the Crow fan film, I should say, that I've been following for some time. I mentioned it previously on the show, called The Crow Days of Sodom, is releasing, or they just released, I should say, a little scene from the movie. So if you want to check that out, I'll provide a link in the description to go check that out. But they surpassed $10,000 in this campaign. So I decided to release a trailer. I don't want to say trailer because it's an actual scene from the movie. It's a fight scene in a nightclub. So, yeah, go check that out and continue to support, please. I'd really like to see this movie do well. And I'm hoping that I can contribute in some way, shape, or manner. And once again, it ties in with wrestling because Mickie James and Maven are both going to be in the movie. So that's pretty cool. If you're a wrestling fan, you might want to check that out. So I'll provide the link there. And the NFL draft and the Raw, our WWE draft were this weekend. So a lot to talk about. My Raiders went a different way. I think they just kind of looked at what they had. The best player at that given moment is what they drafted because they didn't draft as much for their needs. It's kind of weird. 6 quarterbacks, I believe it was, went within the first 12, I think, picks. So it's a little bit different. Very heavily stacked offensive draft this year. Very heavily stacked in the quarterback pool. Too bad we weren't a little bit higher. We could have gotten a really good quarterback. But that's one of those things, too. Time will tell. I mean, so many quarterbacks have come out and so highly touted in the draft and in college and just have done absolutely nothing in the pro ranks. So interesting choice. They did sign some quarterback in undrafted afterwards, and with the undrafted players, they did sign a quarterback, but they going first with a tight end. That was a wild pick. And this dude, was it Brock Bowers, I think his name is? Holy cow. I wasn't sure if I was watching a WWE draft or the NFL draft at that point. That is a killer wrestling name right there. That dude, if he doesn't want to continue his NFL career, that might be something to do. Tight end from Georgia. This guy was really heavily rated. People are saying they got a bargain for him at this drafting position, which is interesting for a tight end. It gives whoever is going to be a starting quarterback, whether it's AOC or whatnot, it gives them a lot of options for targets. They're saying this could be the best tight end duo ever since Gronkowski and Hernandez. Jeez. Someday I'll talk about Hernandez. There's a tie in there, but yeah, they're gonna have some weapons there. I still have my doubts about AOC just because of his mobility and the fact that he doesn't have any. If they send pass rushes at this guy's not going to be able to move in the pocket. I mean, they did draft a couple of offensive linemen, Jackson Powers Johnson, a guard from Oregon, Delmar Glaze, offensive tackle from Maryland, who should really boost their that lineup because it looks like Powers Johnson there is going to be a starter right away, and they went for a cornerback. This guy, he's fast, he's big, 4.34 second, 40, and he's 6'2", so almost like an Al Davis like pick right there. But but they kind of apparently he's penalty prone and he's a little bit too aggressive. But we'll see there. See what AP can do with him. Yeah, Eichenberg, linebacker from Ohio State. The running back, which I think we desperately needed. A safety, bolster that secondary good. Another cornerback, and then like I said, a ton of undrafted guys were signed too. But I'm wondering if they're going to use Bowers in the backfield too. That's what I'm wondering, because he was. I think they utilized him, if I'm not mistaken, at Georgia in that manner too. So they might be doing some interesting plays with him. And this running back we picked up apparently is a very good third down style running back. So I think most people have graded them anywhere from a B minus to a B plus in this draft. We'll have to see what happens, but unfortunately, all of the quarterbacks got taken quickly. Whoever, like I say, whoever ends up starting quarterback, which will probably be OC, man, he's going to have some crazy weapons to throw to, and he's going to have some good blocking up front. So if he doesn't do anything this year, we know for sure that this guy's not going to be a pro starter. And I love the dude. I think he's a real good character guy. He's got a great mind. Really good guy from everything I've seen. Great attitude. But it's his athletic ability or lack thereof that terrifies me. He isn't mobile and isn't agile at all. And even the great pocket passers, even though they don't light up the rushing yards, had some mobility to them where they could step up or avoid the rush more easily, I should say. They were mobile in that sense, and I don't see that with him, unfortunately. I think he's going to take a lot of sacks, which aren't going to be the line's fault, or just because of lack of mobility. Hey, onward though. I'm sorry I took up so much time on non-related wrestling stuff, but that's kind of what we do here, man. I wish I had an hour show, but I don't. So I gotta cram everything I want to talk about in this little half hour, quote unquote. Moving on to WWE, we had The Rock confirm this week what he had given Cody back, and apparently it was the Rolex that Cody had bought everyone that was involved in the main event. And Rock said, don't break his heart again. So that's a big gift to give back. That's crazy. I wouldn't be shocked if that was just storyline, because I wouldn't give a Rolex back, probably. I don't think I could ever buy a Rolex, though. First thing is my I've had tendinitis in my wrist, and it flares up when I wear a watch. Yeah, it was all stemming from when I broke my arm years and years ago, but I just can't wear something that expensive. I'm sorry. I don't care how much money I was making. Raw. We had the show starting off with the Jey Uso promo, which got interrupted by Damian Priest to confront him. Jey ends up super kicking Damian, setting up some match in the future between them. I just don't feel like Jey is on that level in singles. They need to pair him back with Jimmy, which this is going to happen pretty soon, I think. We had Awesome Truth retain the titles. At the end of it, it was against DIY. At the end of it, Ciampa denies a handshake. So, is he turning heel? Is he, what's going on here? We had a good promo from Gunther. At the beginning of it, it was extremely face-ish. And he declares himself a participant in the King of the Ring. I like this. I like that a lot, but it was a good promo. But then we had what happened after that obviously cements Gunther as a heel. We had the match between Imperium and New Day. And I didn't even know Xavier Woods was King of the Ring. How bad is that? But after Imperium loses, Kaiser attacks Vinci, and we had Gunther's nod of approval kind of at the end. Vicious attack, beautiful attack. This I don't know if this spells the end for Imperium, because I think Kaiser's still going to be around. I like Kaiser. I think he's good in the ring. I think excellent heel. I think he just looks like someone you want to beat up. Vinci, on the other hand, just kind of has been floundering lately, and I wouldn't be shocked if I see him get released. Just kind of blends into the crowd. I don't see him going on that much further. It hasn't done anything to really stand out. He had a promo from Drew, which Sheamus comes out to confront him, and they even addressed the weight thing, which was kind of cool. Drew made some jokes, and Sheamus went with it. He was pretty cool with it. He looks like he dropped a little bit of weight since the last time. This guy's still in better shape than 99.9% of us, so I don't know why people are harping on it. I mean, he was rehabbing from an injury, and they called him back early. What does everyone expect? I don't know what fantasy world the fans are living in, but if any of them got in a gym and actually put the work in, they'd probably know how hard it is. And I think Sheamus looks just fine. I don't know why everybody's getting on him, but after that, we were setting up a future feud between Drew and Sheamus. We had Chad Gable come out with the Alpha Academy, addresses what he did to Sammy, and basically berates everybody in the Academy, kind of cementing his heel turn. It makes me wonder where they're going to go with this. Is Otis going to turn on, I don't know. Is the Alpha Academy as a whole going to turn on Chad Gable? Because I don't see them continuing as a heel stable. We'll see. After that, we had a backstage segment with Liv and Dom, which a lot of podcasts have been speculating if they're going to try to shoehorn Liv into there to try to make some drive a wedge, I should say, between Dom and Rhea in Rhea's absence. Let's see. We had another great continuous shot with Becky Lynch. I love these things. They're doing phenomenal with these. I actually enjoyed the match here. I really did. Usually these things are cluster F, but I think it's one of the better battle royals I've seen in a while. We also had a trailer for the new Mad Max film, Furiosa, which I'm excited to see that. That's gonna be cool. Oh boy, we had Dynamite. And every time I talk about AEW now, I almost have to laugh. We had Jack Perry arriving, start to show off with the Young Bucks. We had more of interaction between Willow and Mercedes Moné. So it looks like we're going to finally have that confrontation. They've done absolutely nothing to build this feud up, so it's ridiculous. They just assume that everyone follows New Japan, which is not the case, and everybody knows the background between Moné and Willow, and that's not the case, unfortunately. The casual fan has no reason to actually be interested in this feud, so they need to give them a reason, show some clips from New Japan, and go into the background, run some vignettes, run some promos involving this, because they need to tell people why there is such a feud, such bad blood between the two of these. And anyone, while I'm thinking about it now, is anybody else experience issues with the sound while watching Dynamite? I don't know if it was just my Sling feed or whatnot, but the sound was actually absolutely horrible during this, especially like Serena Deeb made her return and I could barely hear her promo. So I'm wondering, I don't know if it was just my feed or was the sound just absolutely off. In that, to end the show, we had Jack Perry come out to chants of Cry Me a River. I've got such mixed emotions with this because I hate what happened between him and Punk, and I hate the whole situation. I can't stand the Young Bucks, but they're playing into that, and they're playing hard into it. They had he asked for Tony Khan to come out, and which Tony shook his hand and reinstated him. Excuse me. Which in turn Perry leveled Tony Khan, and then we had the Young Bucks come out, kind of do their shtick. What are you doing, man? And then ended up Meltzer driving Tony Khan, which and we had an interesting shot. That Tony Khan's father never shows up, and he actually showed up into the ring and whatnot. I was kind of happy in a way to see that Tony Khan was, continuing kayfabe by wearing the neck brace for the NFL draft. Every time they showed him in the draft for the Jaguars, he was wearing that neck brace. Badly wearing it. I think there was like 2 inches in between the brace itself and his actual neck, so it wasn't even on particularly. But you know what? Hey, kudos to him for selling kayfabe. I'll give him credit for that. That was one of the things I said to my wife. I said, "You better show up with a neck brace to the draft, otherwise I'm not." I've lost even more respect for them. SmackDown, we had draft start. Can't really get too much into this. We had the contract signing between AJ and Cody. Good match between Carmelo Hayes, who came up to the main roster again. Had some vignettes showing with some backstage footage showing Carlito turning heel. Let's see, what do we have in the draft? It's funny. A lot of the guys didn't move. I mean, we started off the night with Bianca Belair being drafted to SmackDown. Then we had Jey Uso going to Raw. Carmelo Hayes was drafted to SmackDown. That was like the 3rd pick. I don't know why that took me by surprise, but Seth freaking Rollins going to Raw. Randy Orton going to SmackDown. Braun Breaker going to Raw. Wasn't he a SmackDown down guy before? I could be wrong. Nia Jax going to SmackDown, which is kind of odd to me because SmackDown tends to be more wrestling oriented and less storytelling. I think she would shine more on Raw, so I'm not really a big fan of that. And Liv Morgan going to Raw. Okay. LA Knight and SmackDown. Yeah, once again, that's kind of odd to me because he's a very good worker, but his strength is his promo and storytelling. Ricochet going to Raw, the Bloodline going to SmackDown, staying on SmackDown, I should say. Sheamus Raw, AJ Styles going to SmackDown. I don't know what to think of that because is this foreshadowing that he's not going to win the title, or is it, because we kind of already know it's a foregone conclusion that Rhodes is going to retain, I think. I don't think there's anybody out there that thinks he's going to lose it to AJ Styles, even though I'd love to see Styles do another championship run. I mean, that dude has more wins now in WWE than he did in TNA, which is wild because he was such a gigantic part of TNA. So yeah, I don't want to read too much into that, him going to the SmackDown. Alpha Academy going to Raw. Are they? I'm not sure what they're doing. I as far as that goes, because a lot of things kind of stayed the same. Andrade going to SmackDown, which I don't know where the rest of the LWO and whatnot went to. Kiana James going to Raw. I'm not gonna. Some sites are doing the Who Won the Night. I couldn't. That's meaningless to me because it's all storyline made up. Not too many huge surprises. Be interested to see where they go with some of that because, like I say, SmackDown tends to be more wrestling oriented and Raw tends to be more story driven because they have the 3 hours they can actually tell that stuff, and a lot of this might play into the Netflix airing of Raw next year. So I don't know if but I mean that's a long ways away, and that a lot of things can happen in the meantime. But some of it might play into leading up to that. I think we're going to shake things up again anyway. There might be some title changes which have people change brands anyway, but I've been keeping the brands fairly separate, I think, but so I'll probably continue to do so. I want to see the numbers when they do switch over to Netflix, if it draws that many more people. I think it will. Netflix is constantly trying to figure out what to do to draw more people, because for the longest time they stabilized, they plateaued and flatlined kind of, so they couldn't figure out for the longest time what to do, draw new viewers and subscribers, and they enforced the whole one login thing, whatnot, much more stringently, and they've been coming out with some real good series, obviously, Cobra Kai, Stranger Things and whatnot. So it's been interesting more people that. I think this is going to be a huge jump in viewership when Raw comes to Netflix. I know I'm gonna renew my Netflix thing, because I haven't had it for a few months now. But I'll definitely do that, so I can watch Raw. I think it's going to get much edgier on Netflix than it has been. We had another interesting thing happen. Ricochet won the Speed Championship. I think this is a cool thing. If I'm not mistaken, that was done on X that they did that? I think this is a great title for him, and I think this is going to have make for some really fun matches, because I think that format plays into his style tremendously, and so I think that's going to be really cool. Well, to close things out, and I hate to close things out this way, I thought this was a joke originally when I saw it, and I've seen pictures now, but not that anyone would want to joke about this, but apparently Darby Allin was hit by a bus in New York City. What the heck? He was crossing the street in New York City. That's crazy. Well, best wishes going out to Darby Allin. I mean, this dude's one of my favorite wrestlers, but he needs to calm the F down. Jeez. What the heck is going on with this guy? I mean, I know he hurt his foot. He couldn't climb Everest. Was he depressed? What the hell is going on? He couldn't see the bus? I mean, come on. New York traffic doesn't move that quickly. It's usually really crowded and really slow moving. What the heck? Well, like I say, prayers going out to Darby, and I hope he heals soon. I hope he gets better soon and is able to return to what he loves, But unfortunately, I am all out of time. So there's a rushed as usual Crushing Kayfabe, but thank you everyone for tuning in. Thank you for your support, and check us out on crushingkayfabe.com. Crushing Kayfabe, crushing with a K, crushingkayfabe.com. Check us out on Patreon. And for $1 a month, you can become a subscriber and help keep these lights on. That would be really awesome if you did. And, check us out at Then and Now. If you're in the Western Tennessee area, check us out at Then and Now. It's right downtown Trenton, right in the square. We have a booth set up there with some items, and tell them that Crushing Kayfabe sent you. That'd be really cool. Excuse me. And, check us out on all the social media platforms, obviously, Facebook, Instagram, X, and that's it. YouTube. Sorry, YouTube. We're also on YouTube. So yeah. Thank you for tuning in. Prayers going out to Ukraine, to Israel, and everyone, God bless and thank you.